Hi guys, and welcome back to Motor Joshing. So I want to discuss with you today about classic motorbikes and their future. So let's get into it. So my dad and his pals are all collectors as such. You know, I mean, most of them have classic bikes, and you know, we're certainly involved in the bike club. There is many people with classic motorbikes, and they have generally, these guys don't have one bike; they have a number of bikes. And with this in mind, and with the kind of way the economy is these days and the way it is, so for people like me, you know, I'm struggling to try and save money to buy a house. You know, having one bike is probably a luxury. Two bikes would be pushing it, unless, you know, you have two cheaper bikes, I guess. But again, there's still a lot of expense involved in all that. And at the end of the day, you know, storage is a massive issue as well, in having somewhere to put these bikes. So, you know, trying to buy a house with a double garage, you know, like my dad's got, so you can fit 7 bikes in it, is another thing altogether. Never mind room for a workshop that you will undoubtedly need because of the fact that you're running older classic motorbikes, and they break down every 4 seconds, which is kind of how they go. So, with that said, what does the future hold for classic motorbikes? So, I think obviously, as museum pieces, obviously the future of classic motorbikes is much like, you know, classic cars essentially. People want to see them, people want to collect them, and that's how that goes. But you know, more and more, you know, we have less disposable income as, you know, the age gaps are coming up. That's based, you know, that's statistically fact. So there is, you know, less and less, you know, money to be purchasing these kind of classic items, I guess. And the other aspect of it is the market on them doesn't seem to be going down. It only appreciates. And the problem being with that is then you're then pricing people out of the market. And not just that, but you know, some of my dad's bikes that he has, you know, can be upwards of £10,000. You know what I mean? And that's fine for a new bike, but as an old classic bike that you know you want to probably keep in pristine condition, and you know, heaven forbid you want to ride it, which I know Dad does, but again, that's because he knows how to fix them. So, you know, I imagine the current uptake of modern retros is because people like the look of classic bikes, but they didn't want the ball ache of fixing them. So then, with that said, do you think modern retros are leading people to look at classic motorbikes? Or is it a case of modern retros are taking some of the stuff out of the classic market, because of course people are now spending money on modern retros instead of buying the older version of the bike, because, you know, obvious reliability, servicing, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And obviously as that kind of goes on, you know, our mechanics of current day are going to be up to par with bikes of yesteryear, you know. I'm sure they're all fine with you know, things with fuel injection and stuff, but as the current age of people that you know, balance carbs and all the rest of it, is it going to be down to a skilled few, you know? Whereas I think with the classic bike scene, more and more people just have a go themselves, to be honest. That tends to be much more of what tends to happen, and because of that they learn. Whereas people now, because of varying lawsuits and you know, these types of things, are encouraged entirely not to have a go. You're basically told, oh no, you shouldn't do that. You need to take that to a dealer, because the machinery is getting more and more complex. With all that said, will people in the future have 12 grand to spare to buy a 1969 motorbike? I don't know. I can't see it happening. If I had 12 grand spare, I'd be buying a new bike that I don't have the reliability issues on. So then you kind of lose that classic nature about it, really. And who's really going to have the space in the future to house these things? And I'm sure some will pass through generations and families, much like I imagine that, heaven forbid, my dad popped his clogs and I'd have all these bikes. It's probably likely, and they would be looked after. I'd probably have to actually learn a bit more about the mechanical side of it, but that would be part of the experience as well. But what do you think, guys? How do you think the classic classic market's going to go? Do you think more people will go to buying older bikes? Do you think the modern retros has taken a bit of a chunk out of the market? How about yourself? When you're older, do you envisage yourself having what would be new classic bikes, bikes from the 90s or the early 2000s or whatever, because that's kind of what we're looking at now as well. Or would you still want an old Bonneville? I don't know. And then further to that, do you think the market on classic bikes will drop because people haven't got that kind of disposable income to spend on these kind of machines? I'd really like to know your opinions on it. It's a bit of a ponderer as to whether the bikes will continue to appreciate, or at some point they'll depreciate and they'll be worth less. And whether or not actually by releasing these modern retros they're actually killing the classic market. I'm not sure. It's an intriguing one to ponder. So I'd love to hear your opinion on this one, so let's have it in the comment section. Do you think there'll always be a market for classic motorbikes? Do you think this kind of emergence of modern retro is changing the game a little bit? Do you think economic reasons will be will hamper people from enjoying luxury items, luxury toys, or will it just be the purview of the rich? Let me know in the description, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.